Dwayne Johnson's epic wrestling match against John Cena may have actually cost him millions of dollars. Dwayne Johnson suffered a severe injury during a match against John Cena that cost him dearly. On top of being one of the most bankable movie stars in the world for years now, Dwayne Johnson has also been one of the most successful wrestlers in the history of the business. Throughout Johnson's legendary wrestling career, he has feuded with loads of extremely memorable WWE superstars. Despite all the wrestlers that Johnson battled in a WWE ring, one of his most talked about feuds revolved around a series of matches that he had with John Cena. After all, the WWE's annual flagship show, WrestleMania, revolved around Johnson and Cena's feud during the early 2010s. Looking back at Johnson and Cena's matches, there is no doubt they will go down in history as massive successes for the WWE. That said, it turns out that Johnson paid a huge price for one of those matches physically and possibly financially too. Did Dwayne Johnson get injured while wrestling John Cena? In the past, massively famous wrestlers like Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper made their way to Hollywood. While some people consider Piper's movie They Live to be a classic, the truth is that up until a certain point in history, there weren't any former professional wrestlers that became bankable movie stars. Of course, all of that changed when Dwayne Johnson went to Hollywood and starred in movies from a wide array of genres. After Johnson's massive success, other wrestlers like Dave Bautista and John Cena followed his example. Even though Johnson ultimately helped Cena get his Hollywood big break, the two men haven't always seen eye to eye. In fact, after Johnson became focused on his acting career, Cena publicly called him out for mostly leaving the WWE behind. Several years after Cena first called Johnson out, the man who is sometimes known as The Rock returned to the WWE to host WrestleMania XXVII. After that initial return, Johnson went on wrestle Cena in the main event of WrestleMania 18 and WrestleMania 29. Unfortunately for Johnson, things went horribly awry during Johnson and Cena's WrestleMania 29 match. In 2013, Johnson spoke to Entertainment Tonight and explained how severe an injury he suffered during that match with Cena was. About midway through the match, I tore my abductor tendon, as well as my rectus tendon, completely off my pelvis. And then I found out that I had 3 wonderful hernia tears. Johnson continued, "There's a lot of fun swelling in the cash and prizes area for the first week and a half. Those were sexy times, it's a lot of fun pain to go through." While Johnson's description of what he went through in the aftermath of his emergency hernia surgery sounds intense, his injury was so bad it continues to affect him to this day. During a 2021 Wired autocomplete interview he shared with Emily Blunt, it turned out one of the most common questions people Google about Johnson is what's wrong with The Rock's abs? After Johnson expressed his opinion that question is messed up, he went on to explain why his abs look different more than a decade after his second match with Cena. Here's the thing. I think because on Instagram these fitness models have these incredible 6, 8, 12, 24 pack stomachs. I've got a 5.5 pack, sometimes a 4.5 pack. Johnson continued, "The problem was, which a lot of people don't know, in a wrestling match, I tore the top of my quad off my pelvis. That caused a chain reaction and it tore my abdomen wall. So then I had to do a triple hernia emergency surgery. So, they're not, like, perfect abs." How Dwayne Johnson's injury cost him dearly. When Dwayne Johnson returned to the WWE to feud with John Cena during the early 2010s, it is hard to overstate how big of a deal that was for the company. The reason for that is Johnson had already become one of the top movie stars in the world, and it was a boon for the wrestling company to be associated with him. As for Johnson, he had stuff to gain from working with the WWE again. First off, there is no doubt that Johnson was paid a lot of money by the WWE for his return. On top of that, when WWE fans saw Johnson in the ring again, they were given more of a reason to support his movie career. Based on what Johnson has said in the past, however, it seems very clear that he worked with the WWE early in the 2010s mostly because he loves wrestling. After all, if you look at the situation from afar, it seems likely that Johnson could have actually lost money working with the WWE no matter what happened in his matches. According to reports, Johnson was paid $10 million to star in 2011's Fast 5, which was filmed in 2010. According to a 2021 Forbes article, the WWE's two biggest stars, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, who was a crossover star like Johnson, were being $5 million annually by the WWE. Keeping in mind what Reigns and Lesnar's WWE salaries were, there is no way Johnson was paid anywhere close to $10 million annually by the WWE in the early 2010s. Considering how much time Johnson spent at WWE events and training for the ring between 2011 and 2013, he could have earned more if he was working on a movie instead. Unfortunately for Johnson, it reportedly gets a lot worse than that. Before Johnson's father, who went by Rocky Johnson, passed away, he was interviewed by the YouTube channel The Hannibal TV. During that interview, Rocky Johnson claimed that the hernia his son suffered while wrestling John Cena cost the movie star a fortune. That's it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.